Hello, you fabulous fluid art fanatics. Today I'm going to resin this piece and we're going to go ahead and get started. The first thing I do is I go ahead and make sure my area is clean and as lint free as I can get it, because lint is your enemy. And if you have dogs, cats, fur is always going to get trapped in there, always. First thing I do is I go ahead and spray it down with a little bit of water. Just wipe it down with a clean paper towel. Be sure you get your edges and make sure that you've got it lint free, and just kind of check over it real well. Good tip is to always wipe down your sticks, your cups, especially if you have them sitting out like I usually do. Just go ahead and give everything a good wipe, so that way you make sure that there's no extra dust particles, and try to get as clean and perfect as a resin coat on your piece as you can. Okay, the next thing I do is I go ahead and get my gloves on. I always double glove at least. And when I put my gloves on, I make sure that I pull the first pair up all the way. And then with the second pair, I will put them on and then I will kind of fold it down. And so that way I don't get resin on my arm when I go to pull that first pair off. But when you put your gloves on, once you get your resining done and when you're ready to move on to your torching, you still have an extra pair of gloves on underneath those, and you keep your hands nice and clean and keep your tools as clean as possible. All right, next, be sure you wear your PPE, please. Okay, the next thing I do is I go ahead and give it just one more wipe down. My kitty likes to get up there and hang out with me, so I've always got fur issues. So I go ahead and just wipe it down one more time. I'm going to get 2 cups of the same size, and I am going to put equal amounts of my resin part A in 1 cup and my hardener part B in the 2nd cup. Now you're not going to weigh it out. You're going to eyeball to where they look level. Okay, so then what I do is I go ahead and mix my resin, which is thicker, and I'm going to go ahead and pour that into my part B cup, which is the hardener. And I'm just going to stir. You're going to mix it. You don't want to whip it. You want to keep your stick pretty much level and on the bottom of the cup, but you're going to take your stick and you're going to wipe around the edges, and you're going to wipe your stick off, and then keep on stirring, and you're going to set a timer for 5 minutes. And I'll do it anywhere in between 3 and 5 minutes, depending on how much resin I'm mixing up. Of course, if you're mixing up a greater amount, you're going to want to mix it for a little bit longer to make sure that it's fully incorporated. Because if not, when it goes to cure, it's still going to be tacky if it's not mixed properly. So you don't want that to happen, because then you have to go and re-resin it again to fix that issue. So go ahead and just stir, and scrape your stick, scrape your sides of your cup, and make sure that it is fully incorporated and mixed well. Now, because I like my pieces a little extra bougie, I get a holographic extra fine powder off of Amazon that you use actually like for your nails. It's in the nail section. So I will add a little bit of that just to add a little extra bling. Now, a little bit of this does go a long way, so just use a little tiny bit, add it to your resin, and then go ahead and stir, mix, scrape your sides, scrape your stick, and make sure that it is all incorporated in there as well. And it just gives your piece just a little extra, just a little something. Okay, once you've got everything all mixed, we're ready to go ahead and pour. I just go ahead and pour it down and smooth it out with my gloved hand. I make sure I get the sides, the edges, and all across the top. I like to do it with my hand so I can actually feel, because you can actually feel if you're missing spots. And then you're going to want to go ahead and get down level with your painting and you want to check for lint, check for fuzz, check for any little gaps where you need to cover. Go over it with your heat gun or your torch. have you a pair of tweezers that are just for your resin, and so you can pick out little bits that you find as you're going. I always go ahead and put like an extra little bead along the edges and the sides to make sure that they do have good coverage and to kind of help it dome a little bit. So you're just going to repeat this process, get down, check with your flashlight, with your phone light, with light from the window, and just kind of go side to side, level with your painting, and look and make sure you don't see anything that doesn't belong on there. Go over it with your air gun or your torch just a few times, make sure that all of those bubbles are gone. Then once you're done, cover it up. You might check it a couple of times within the first 10 minutes to make sure that there's no bubbles that popped up. If there is, go ahead and go over it with your heat gun or your torch again and just cover it up and leave it there for about 24 hours. That little net that I have, I actually got it at the Dollar Tree and they work great. It'll pretty much fit over most of my pieces, and you just pop it open, put it on there, and it'll protect it really great. And here is the final results. I got a really nice mirror shine to them. I'm pretty excited about this piece. Thanks for watching. Jesus loves you, so do I. Go make something beautiful today. Thank you. Bye-bye.